What's good, YouTube? So on today's video, I'm pretty much gonna be doing an install video of the charge tubes. I was doing some work on my transmission bearing cover. As you can see here, I still have my clutches off, and since I had some of the tubes off, might as just well get this charge tubes installed. We'll be removing this one from the throttle body to the intercooler down on the passenger side, and once we get that one off, there's this little one there. You can see the clamp that goes to the turbo and to the intercooler as well. That's the short one. So we'll be installing RPMs charge tubes. They send them pretty well packaged. Each charge tube has its own clamp. They send them with the clamp in place because they're all different clamps, or for the most part they're different, so you don't want to lose the position of them, of where they go. Here's the one that goes to the turbo and to the intercooler. We'll also be installing their new RPM blow-off valve. I have the older version. I'll remove it and put it side by side to this one so you guys can kind of compare it. I'm not sure if they're out with them yet, but they will be coming if they aren't already. This is their new design. I'm not sure if they're gonna sound any different. I expect it to, but we'll find out. The charge tubes, it's gonna relocate my blow-off valve, so we will no longer have the blow-off valve. Let's call this in front of the engine. I can show you here. So my blow-off valve currently is right there. If you see it here, right there. It will no longer go there. It's gonna relocate it to somewhere in this area. So behind the engine. So for the noise, it's gonna be louder on the outside than in the cab, which it could be a plus for some of you guys because these blow-off valves are pretty loud. Alright, so I'm gonna try and video as much as I can. I'm gonna start off with this clamp that goes to the throttle body. I'm using a size 7 to remove this. It also takes a flat screwdriver, but I just feel this is a lot better. So that's nice and loose. Let's see. I feel like I can reach the small one that goes to the throttle body, which is a little up higher. So I reposition the camera to see if you guys can kind of catch this one up here. This one is the one that, it's the short hose that goes to the turbo. And that's kind of scary because it kind of feels like it wasn't too tight, but luckily it's in position. Alright, now I'm gonna get in position on the passenger side to try and get the other two. So I'm not sure how this video will turn out just because these spots are in such a small areas where it's hard to get a camera in, but I have it locked in right where the intercooler goes, which is this one here. Sorry if my arm's in the way. Like I said, there's not really a whole bunch of space for a camera, but I'll try and do my best. So we got that one loose. Alright, that should be good enough. So now the only one I need to get loose is the one that goes to the turbo. Alright, so this has got to be the hardest thing I've ever done. So I'm pretty much holding my camera with my hand and trying to loosen up this clamp that goes to the turbo. And it looks like we are successful. If you don't have a bench seat, this is to get to this part is like super easy. But since I have a bench seat, my access is restricted. Now that we have the 4 clamps loosened, the main charge tube that goes through the throttle body is held on by a plastic clamp. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Let's see if we can get it in camera. Right there. We're gonna take that off. That way we can release the clamp. It's a plastic clamp that holds a few of the hoses. I think I'm gonna have to remove this tube to be able to fit my hand in there. The only thing that holds this is just like a plastic input. Got that off. And we got a straight shot to it. It is a T20. Okay. Let's see if we can undo that clamp. Alright. The charge tube you're seeing here, that's the main one we're gonna get off. I got it loose on both sides. Now we just gotta work it out. So a few little spins. And it's off. We should get a lot better airflow once we install these. And I'm gonna keep this position, this spot, just because we got a good view of our RPM one. So pop that one off. So I had to remove the little vent from the blow-off valve, that little hose that goes to the vent, in order for me to be able to get it out this way. Let's see if that's gonna be possible. So I am running the RPM one, so it came out with the blow-off valve, and my little filter fell somewhere. Charge tubes all removed. I was running the RPM with the blow-off valve already, so this one's not OEM, but this one is. This will be the one replacing this one. The blow-off valve will no longer go on this hose here. It will be transferred over to this one. But there's the old version, and this will be the new version. So it's a little bigger in size, it seems like, in a way. That RPM logo is now integrated. This one feels a lot heavier. It has this swivel here, so the little hose that goes up here can go anywhere. I don't feel like there was a flaw with this. It worked just fine, but this is just added. I'm not sure if the same springs fit or not. This one already comes with a spring. I will be running the filter still, but you don't have to, since these don't, they're only outputs. They won't be like sucking in air or anything in them. But a lot better. I really like the way they designed this part, the grip, compared to this one. So I'm gonna start by installing the smaller one, the one that goes to the turbo, and then the intercooler. I like to spray a little bit of soap and water on the ends, and then just remove some of the excess. So I'm gonna shoot to try and get the turbo part in first, which will be the smaller one. And that slid just fine. Now I'm gonna try and get the intercooler on there. There we go. The clamp on the side that goes to the turbo is a steel size 7, so I'm gonna go over to the driver's side and try and get that tightened up. So I got the turbo one clamped down. I just need to tighten this one. So you just gotta do a pull test, make sure they stay in place, and you should be good. So we got that one done. So now I'm gonna get the larger charge tube. I think my best bet will be to run it from the passenger side out this way. So let's see if that works. So I got part of it in. I think we got it here. So at the moment I'm getting in position to install the passenger side charge tube that goes into the intercooler. So you do have to work them in position a bit. We got that one in place. I'm just gonna give that a little pull, make sure it holds, and it does. So now let's go over to the driver's side. All right, so I'm now on the driver's side. This is where the throttle body is. This is our hose. We'll try and put this clamp on. So once it's in position, I'm pushing down on it here and getting it tightened with the screwdriver. So it's a 6 now. You want to make sure this one is really tight. You do your pull test and it looks perfect. Get on here. So there's the charge tube. Runs all the way this way. So this is where my blow off valve will go. And then that's all done right there. So before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and mount that plastic T20 bolt back on and get that nice and tight up there before I put my blow off valve. So I'm prepping my blow off valve. This is a new style. Got my filter on, and this blow off valve now will go in that little section there. So let's see where we're at. So I'm just positioning the clamp. That way we get a good position, because you don't want this blow off valve coming off. Do your pull test. All right, so the next part would be, let me show you guys, let me get this phone. The next part would be to remove that part, but since I was already running the blow-off valve, I already have the attachment here with the hose that goes to the plenum. So then I just gotta chase my line, which is this one. We will no longer need it as long as it is. So what we're gonna do is, actually, I'm gonna keep this one. I'm just gonna remove it. Let's use the new one. Let's get this one off. So the new line's a little thicker. So this is the spot. This is the one that would go in the plenum. But since I already have one, I'm not gonna be using this. So in that case, we're gonna be using this one, and we'll just cut it. So I should be able to cut it with some of these. So the hose ripped a little bit as I was pulling it off. Let me just remove this excess that stayed. All right, got that off. Let's put the new hose in. So you do have to kind of work it in. There we go, we got it. And we'll give it a little slack, not too much. So we'll cut about here. And then this one goes to the blow-off valve. We'll give it one more try. And there it is. Let's put this one back on. And there we have it. All set.